Hey, everybody, welcome to the MD Levrone Report, starring IFBB Hall of Famer and one of my favorite people in this industry, Kevin Levrone. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Ron. Thank you, man. How you been? It's been a while.
Doing very well. I'm amazed at your son, how much he looks like you. It's almost like he's a clone. I can't remember his name right now because I'm an idiot.
Gabe.
Gabe Levrone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the face and everything, the shoulders. I mean, what's he, about 6'2" though?
Gabriel's 6 foot right now.
6 foot. Wow. What's he,
He just
15?
turned 17. He's 6 foot. It's about 170, 75 pounds right now. So he's finding his way, out there. And everybody asks me, you know, him about bodybuilding. Observing him and looking at him, he's got great genetics. He has a lot of my genetics. And everything. But you know what? His path is football. He's been wanting to play football, actually playing football since he's 7 years old. So that's his love, that's his passion. And I kind of wanted to talk about that today, as far as people finding their purpose in life, and it's a topic that isn't really discussed a whole lot because we always talk about the Olympia. We always talk about athletes who have made it, but we never really give advice to those guys out there who want to be on that stage, competing at the Olympia, or who want to just start and get in their foot in the industry. How do they do that, right? So, and how do you find your purpose and find what it is? Because I know when I was my son's age and when I was a teenager in my early 20s and stuff, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, we know we got to go to college, we know we got to get education, but still, how do we find out like what it is that really we want to do, and how do we end up becoming successful at really what we wanting to do, right, Ron?
Well, you were there to guide your son and recognize his greatest talents and sort of very, very wisely guide him toward the path for he's on a path toward being in the NFL, it seems like to me. But when you were 17, your dad had passed away. You didn't have a dad to guide you. Sure, your mom did the best she could, but you were sort of, I wouldn't say lost, but I imagine when you were like 17, 18 years old, you had really no idea where your life was going to go, what direction, what you were good at. I mean, what was going through your head when you were 17,
Well,
18, 19 years old?
again, I was lost. I didn't know what. All I know is I wanted to make money, and I was trying to figure out how to do it.
Hmm.
You know, and it's hard because I mean, for me, looking back now, it's I can't even, like, how in the world did I end up making it this far? It's like, because there was no blueprint. There wasn't any athletes that really come along in the state of Maryland that took it to that Mr. Olympia stage. There was nobody that I could talk to, that I knew that I could reach out to, even close, right? And then here I am, this kid having a dream out in La La Land, because people thought I was crazy when I would say, "Yeah, I want to be a pro bodybuilder or whatever." Yeah, you're crazy. You got to move to California to do that. You got to do this. So it was like, man, you just have to. That's why I always tell people, you really got to. You got to start with believing in yourself. Like, let me ask you a question. How did you end up on your path? Like, did you figure that this is what your niche was, and when did you find that out?
Yeah, you met me not long after that. We met each other back in 91. So I went to college for film. I thought vaguely in my mind, I'll be a movie director. Sounded like a good thing to be. So I went to film school, and my last semester, the college had a program where you could be an intern somewhere, and I interned at a company called American Sports Network. A guy named Lou Zwick owned it. You knew Lou very
I
well.
remember, Lou. Yeah.
And so I became an intern on the ESPN American Muscle Show in January 91. And immediately, he hired me because, you know, I was really good at what I had a passion for the sport, and I had that film training background. So TV was a natural progression.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I loved bodybuilding. I was a bodybuilder. I realized kind of early on, I didn't have the talent physically to be like on the level of the guys like you that I was covering, but I saw a real opportunity. If I followed my passion and worked really hard, I could work full time in this industry on the other side, the media side, writing, TV, videos, whatever. And yeah, that's it. It really was by accident. I never, you know, in high school, whatever, I never imagined the bodybuilding and the weights and all that would lead to a career. And there are a lot of careers. This industry now, and that was 35 years ago. The industry now, there's so many more opportunities for anyone. You don't have to be an athlete. There's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's a million. You could supplement companies, coaching. There's
Mhm.
so many ways people can make a living in this industry now, if that's your passion, if fitness and bodybuilding or whatever. But you know, you have to, like you said, if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what opportunities are there, because you're never really going to see them, and you'll always just assume, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. You always have to believe you can do it. Did you? When did you know? When did you really know that you could be a pro bodybuilder? Was it not until you turned pro, or was it before that?
I don't know if I knew that I could be a professional bodybuilder. My focus is what always was on being one of the best in the world as a bodybuilder. Like every single time I went to the gym, like when it finally clicked, like probably was like when I started training and I realized how strong I was. Man, I'm pretty strong. And then I had people saying, "Man, you're getting big quick, right?" So my body just started like really, really changing. And then I didn't even know how to diet back then. I was probably about 20, early 20s, you know, because I put myself in an environment where there was a lot of powerlifters and guys training and stuff. And me not knowing anything about diets and not knowing anything about really training sets and reps, I learned by looking and observing my environment. So I went to where the biggest guys were that I could be around. Once, once I figured out, wow, I might have a shot at it. And I heard that from people. I said, you know what? I need to get around some people that I could learn from, right?
Yeah.
Like be in front of them, see how they lift, see their personalities, their attitudes in the gym. And that was a lot of powerlifters. We had a lot of powerlifters, you know, back in Powerhouse Gym. I went to where the biggest, baddest guys were
Mm.
and put myself in that environment, you know, as a young man and seeing how I matched up against them, right? Mentally. And that gave me the confidence to go into my first powerlifting meet when I was probably about 21 years old, Mr. Colossus in Baltimore. And I was around those guys, and I won for my weight class. I ended up benching 455 pounds in a weight class of 189, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, shit, there's something there. So I knew that if I put a diet on top of it and really started following a training regimen like a bodybuilding person, then I knew there was a possibility that my body would respond to something, right? So that's kind of like how I kind of stumbled over it. And then at that point, I started reading the Weeder magazines, you know,
Yeah.
doing our research and picking the magazines up and reading, studying the nationals, studying who won nationals, what are the nationals, what was Mr. Maryland, like whatever state you live in, if you're in the United States, like go and see what it takes to get a pro card and who won and locally and local events and get your NPC card and compete it. So there was a lot of homework that I had to do. Um, to step on stage. You know, one was learning how to diet, one was learning how to train, one was learning what works for my body. And then I went and I competed at the NPC. But before that, I competed at the AAU. That same day at that powerlifting meet, there was a bodybuilding event called Mr. Colossus. I shaved my body down. We went and got some underwear, and I walked on stage and I won. I was like, shit, this is pretty easy. So I knew at that point, if I learned the diet and put some more working out like a bodybuilder would work out, sets, reps, 16 sets per body part, that what would happen. So that's kind of like how I started.
Let me ask you, because you were so good at bench pressing and, you know, powerlifting and bench, I'd say like that was an era where big bench presses were, I remember like Ken Lane, Ted RC, there was a few like superstar celebrity powerlifters that really specialized in the bench back then. At
Yeah.
any point, at what point did you decide I'm really good at both of these things, but bodybuilding is where I want to go? That's my path.
Well, you know, we had guys like Kurt Kowalski, and he was a huge squatter, and a lot of famous guys like that that were powerlifters. And I said, powerlifting, those guys were huge. I mean, this guy's 300 pounds, and I didn't want my body to get like that. So, and then I realized that, you know, powerlifters don't, the opportunity of making a lot of money, you know, was greater for the bodybuilders, because we saw Lou Ferrigno, right? We saw Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney. We saw, you know, Arnold do it with all of that. And we saw what we get, the package that come along with bodybuilding, right? The magazines, the shows, so many opportunities. I mean, Mr. Olympia was what, in Italy, all around the world like it is now. So that was the route. I was sold on that. I was like, you know what? One day I want to be in those Weider magazines. I want to meet Joe Weider, you know?
Yeah.
So it was something to shoot for, right? So when I was in the gym training, I would think about things like that, the visualization of where I wanted to be, you know, tomorrow, next month, next year. Man, if I really give it my all, I got a chance of probably, you know, meeting Joe Weider one day. But first, I got to win this Mr. Maryland, right? So you take it step by step. You're going to run across those lumps and shit in the road, and people saying, how many people told me I couldn't do it? I had to move to California. You don't know nobody, this and that. But I do believe that greater the sacrifice, greater the reward. But also you have to be a realist, like you were, right, Ron? You said, you know what, I can only take it this far. I can't take it this far and go against, you know, that level of top guys out there on that pro level. But you have to be a realist, and you have to have real people around you, but you have to have that drive and that determination, that burning desire that this is what you want to do. Like, why do you want to do it? My father had died. My mother died from, I had nothing else to lose that really meant anything to me in life. You know, at that time, my son wasn't born. So for me, it was all or nothing. I was all in. And I did it because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to make money. And I just wanted to have a better life, you know. So I dove all in, you know, and I took every rep. I took everything very, very serious when I trained, right? So for me, that's kind of like what really drove me. You know, I had no idea I would end up where I'm at now, but finding that, you know, how do we find that, right? I think this sport really has a lot to offer, a lot of beautiful things to offer, you know. It does, man. And
Well, let me ask you this though. You obviously belief in yourself is easy when you're winning all the time, but you did get beat a few times early on. And obviously later, once you get to the Olympia level, things are going to happen regardless of who you are. But the junior nationals, did you win that on your first try, or did DeMayo beat you that first year?
DeMayo beat me Look, man, I didn't win my second show in Maryland. I didn't win that.
Really?
A guy named Mike Cook beat me.
Never heard of him.
But that was the AAU show he beat me in.
Mhm.
I competed in 3 AAU shows before I switched over to the NPC. When I switched over to the NPC, I won the Mr. Maryland in the NPC. Then I went straight to the juniors and I lost against Paul DeMayo. 4 months after that, I went to the nationals and I ended up winning the overall thing at the nationals. But, I've got beaten. You know what I mean? The thing
Mentally,
is, over
what did you do every time you got beat? Because some people just cry and
pissed
blame other people.
it pissed me off. It pissed me off because I knew that I probably could have won or should have won or whatever. So every single time I lost, I said, you know what? If it's close, the judges aren't going to give it to me. So I have to go in there that much better than the next person. So it just gave me a lot to think about and train for when I was in the gym. So every time I lost, it pushed me in a direction, to not whimper and bullshit. I'm never bullshit. I never complained about getting second in any pro show or in any amateur show. I just continue to take that and say, you know what, I just got to come back better. I got to do something to make myself better. And that's exactly what I did. Not a lot of people can turn it into something like that, but this game is a mental game.
I 100% agree. I mean, people, obviously you were a genetic freak, but you were competing against everyone you were up there with was, look at the nationals that you won. That lineup was the greatest. There was no super heavies back then, guys. Everybody over 198 was in one giant class. There was like 40, there was like 40 guys in your class. It was like Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, Paul DeMayo, Cormier. I don't know. It was like Matt Mendenhall. Like everybody was in that class that year. And you beat them all. But yeah, you go your first pro show, Porter Cottrell beats you.
Yeah.
Do you think if you had won everything, you would have lost your drive and motivation at some point soon? Did you need to get beat so that you get better and come back stronger?
Yeah. So, it's like when people think things are falling apart, they're actually falling in place. Right. I mean, I had a pec tear as soon as I got second in the Mr. Olympia. I had a major injury. I had only won like one show, the Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Prior to that, every show I won after that was after my pec tear.
Right.
Like, that was a chance of me quitting and giving up. I mean, I was out for 7 months.
Oof.
Yeah.
So
when you think your life is falling apart, a lot of times it's falling in place. But I knew at that point that, because I came back that year and I got 5th or 6th at the Olympia. Yeah. After not training for 7 months and trained for 3 or 4 months, I got 5th at the Olympia with that horrific injury. Nobody thought that it would happen because they're like, there's no way that could happen. But I brought my doctor, Kevin Testworth, at the Arnold, ended up winning the Arnold. And then we said, yeah. So then I knew, wow, I don't really need 8 months or a whole year to prepare for a show because my body's a hyper responder. And I'm going to tell you, Ron, if that hadn't ever happened to me, I don't think I'd be sitting here talking to you today, because that injury also helped me learn a lot about my body, my limits, what I could push to, what I'm capable of. And it kind of pulled me back from training all year. If I had been training all year, if I had been training all year, I wouldn't be here right now. People could say, hey, Kevin Levrone, he would have, if he had did this, been Mr. Olympia, but I probably would have killed myself too, because I'm the type of guy to where it's all or nothing. And those 4 months that I did train, coming back after that injury for that Olympia in 1993, I went balls to the walls with my training. Like, my psyche was somewhere else, and I got fit. Then I went balls to the walls again for another 6 months, getting ready for the Arnold to prove that I could win. So I knew that, you know what, I can't do this all year. You know, mentally I couldn't do it all year. And I just, there was more to life than just bodybuilding. And that's being a human being, making right choices and not getting so attached to this sport to where you let it destroy you, right?
I mean, that's a great point because here you are, walking around looking fantastic. I don't think you have any major aches or pains. You don't look like you're in pain when I see you walking around. And we see other guys who really did push it all year, like Ronnie. We love Ronnie. We both love Ronnie. But to see the way the poor guy moves, and he has no regrets, he doesn't complain. But it hurts me to see the physical pain and the limitations he has now. And he basically sacrificed himself to be the greatest. But at the same time,
Yeah.
you have to wonder, could Ronnie have taken it a little easier for at certain times, and maybe he wouldn't be in this position today? We'll never know. But yeah, it's a good point you make about not letting bodybuilding be your whole life, your all-consuming obsession 24/7. And I need you to say it because they don't listen to me, but you're somebody who won many Arnold Classics, 20 something pro shows, second Olympia 4 times. They'll listen to you if you say it. So tell people why a
Yeah.
balance, why bodybuilding should not be all you think about and all you do every day and night. I guess I
Well,
just said
because you want to have life. You want to have a good quality of life after the sport. Use it as a business, use it to market yourself, but don't put your life on the line to die for it, because there's much more that this sport has to offer you. If you respect it, treat it like a business, get up, go to work, turn it off when it's time to turn it off, go on vacation when it's time, spend time with your family, then get back to your preparation for shows. Have longevity. I mean, for me, it was like I said, okay, 6 months out of the year, I'm going to focus on business. I own my gym. I was a business person. I managed that place. And then the other, ramping up to the Mr. Olympia, I said, okay, I'm 5 months out. Now it's 6 months out. Now I got to mentally, there's a mental preparation that I went through, 2 months of mental preparation before I even started and jumping into my training, you know? And then I trained all out for 4 months to get ready for the Mr. Olympia. I dove in for it like that way. But then again, after that, then I said, okay, my training is done. I competed at the Olympia. Now I got to get into the business aspect. Then I went on the road after the Mr. Olympia. Um, went on the road after the Mr. Olympia to market yourself for another 2 or 3 months after that show. So there's a business side to it, there's a human family side to it, and there's your job, which is the sport. You got to be able to balance those things and say this part is the business, this part is uh, you know, the sport of it, and this part is, you know, the family part of it, spending time with your family, the health part of it, making sure you're healthy, the business part of it, going out on the road competing, the bodybuilding part of it is in the gym, and you can't let you can't let one be one dimensional to where all you worrying about is juicing up, going in the gym and working out and training, because that right there will destroy you. You won't be able to communicate with people. You'll forget about the business side of it, and you will not have longevity in this sport.
I mean, I think you're such a great role model because you did not juice your brains out all year round. You really gave your body long spans to recover, to be healthy. That's why we're talking right now. I honestly don't think you might not be here right now. You probably wouldn't be here right now had you gone the path of a lot of guys who hit the gear hard all year long because they're thinking, well, it's off season now. I got to take a ton of gear to get big. Well, now it's prep. I got to take a ton of gear to keep the muscle I built. And
Right.
also, another good point you made is, you set yourself up for future success in life while you were still embedded in being top of the sport. You were a champion, but you were still making time to go to these other countries and to meet all these fans. And here we are, 20, 30 years later. You go to, what do you go to, like 40, 50 countries a year sometimes? You're
Yeah,
all over the
man.
place.
I got to get ready to go back out on tour. I just came back from South America from being gone for 12 days. My son's got football season cranking up. I'm going to miss probably about 5 of his games while I'm gone.
Mm.
This is the business side of it. You know, it's the family side and business side. Now I got to go. I'm traveling to like seven different countries. The whole month of September, I'm gone. You know, and people want what you had, but they're not willing to sacrifice what you do. But it's complete balance that allows me to do what I do. Look, I'm sitting here right now in Life Med Institute. I always
Wow.
talk about Life Med Institute.
Look at
You
that.
know, I just had my, yeah, I'm sitting here right now getting an IV right here, a IV, right?
Wow.
Where
Holy
all,
crap.
yeah, all my vitamins, my minerals, my supplements, and everything that I need is putting into me intravenously,
Hmm.
and that's going to give me support for a whole week. Like, technology is so far advanced right now, as far as taking care of our bodies. But I have to do this, you know, because this allows me to go out, travel the countries, visit 6 or 7 countries a month, 9 different countries, 15, 20 countries a year, and run at that pace. I just had my full blood work panels done last week. Blood work came back perfect. I get them pulled twice a year here. And it's part about being smart and taking care of yourself. Where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? Set those 5 year goals, you know, take care of yourself. Give your body that rest and recovery and that time that it needs. Do I have to do this? No, I'm perfectly fine. But I'm doing it because it's preventive maintenance, you know? Will it make me live longer? I have no idea. But I can tell you right now, I feel like $1,000,000. You know, I
Yeah.
sleep good at night. I wake up, I feel good, you know. So we have to do those small things to make big changes, right, Ron?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, first and foremost, I just want to say to everybody out there, take care of yourself. Think about the people around you. Think about where you want to be in in the future. Think about what you're doing right now. How is it going to affect your life tomorrow? How is it going to affect your life a year from now? You know, time flies. So, you know, just don't wrap yourself up in, I just want to be a bodybuilder. You want to be a bodybuilder, we get that. But be who you want to be outside of bodybuilding. Be a business guy. Be an entrepreneur somewhere. Start a business. You know, be a motivator. Be a bodybuilding motivator. You know, be a guy that communicate. But first of all, you have to be able to be healthy, feel good about yourself before you can be good to anybody. You know, Joe Weir told me a long time ago. He said, you might not have won a Mr. Olympia. You certainly have the capabilities, and you deserve to be a Mr. Olympia, but the sport is a business. Treat it like a business, and you'll have longevity. You'll have a career long after competing. And he was so true. It was so real and so true to what he was saying to me. Then that didn't matter to me if I got second or really where I placed. I was just going to put it all in, being a good person, off of the stage, representing the sport the best way that I can, and taking advantage of every situation in a positive manner to help others along the way. You know, my
You're doing
mother
that.
told me something one time. She says, do more for others than you do for yourself. You know,
Hmm. Yeah. A lot of wisdom in that one statement. Hmm. Yeah. Well, man, I didn't know you were hooked up to an IV, Kevin, this whole time we were talking. That was a surprise reveal toward the end of the video. But crazy, man.
thank you, man.
Well, that's all good life advice. I hope everyone out there really listens to it, takes it to heart, because yeah, you have this one life, and that's it. And it's you're the captain of the ship. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't set the goals, if you don't make these things happen, no one's going to do it for you. And you don't want to be at the end of your life thinking, I should have, could have, would have done this or that. You know,
Yeah.
life goes by whether you're paying attention or not. Time's going to keep going by. So that's it, man. Appreciate you taking the time. And did I even say brought to you by Levrone supplements? I don't think I did. So, how's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the update on the company? How's the company doing all over the world? I see.
Yeah, it's doing great, man. We're in about 90 countries around the world, and I'm it's dream come true, man. I look forward to going out, visiting the country, seeing everybody, and pouring into them. You know, I enjoy it.
I watch I always check your Instagram stories and stuff, and the joy on these fans' faces, it's, it's priceless. It's some of these people have been looking at your pictures and videos for decades, and they finally have you in front of them. They finally get their chance to meet this guy they've looked up to
Yeah.
for all these years, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah. You know, and I stand there, whether it's 1,000, 2,000, 500, whatever. I mean, I stand there and greet every person until the final person leaves. You know,
Awesome.
they sacrifice so much. They come out, they save up all year to see us. You know, they drive miles, and some of the stories that they walk up to me and tell, man, it's mind blowing. You know, and you always have to give in and give back and help people, and let God do the rest, you know. So we got some good things going with the company, and I always call it my fan family. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and certainly if it wasn't for the industry, Jim Mangan, Joe Weider, and all the bodybuilders that came before me. You know, we have to really never forget where we come from, and never forget the path we cross, and never forget who we are and what we need to represent. You know what I mean? So sport's been great. The opportunity that the IFBB and the NPC has given to me has been phenomenal. It's a dream come true. So never stop dreaming, guys. Always believe that you can, because if you believe you can, you certainly can achieve it. You know, bad times don't last forever. Just never quit, never give up, no matter how long it takes, and you'll prevail and pull through. No matter what you're going through in life, you're going through it for a purpose. You know, you think your life is falling apart, it's falling into place. Just hang in, hold on, and in time, you'll find out what your purpose is.
Yeah. Well, the perfect way to end it, man. Appreciate it, Kevin. So that's
Thank
it, guys. Follow him on Instagram with all the other 1.4 million people at Kevin Levrone. Am I saying it right? It's Levrone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I've been asking you that for 30 years, and I still can't remember. It's Levrone. Levrone.
Yes.
Well, it's Italian. Levrone. So, all right, man. That's it. Thank you so much, Kevin. Enjoy the rest of your infusion there. And have an awesome trip all over the world. And your best of luck in the next football season to game. That's it, man. Everybody, thanks for watching MD Levrone Report with Kevin Levrone. We'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.